Hello everyone, I am Seva Achrekar from SYBMS B, and today I am going to give presentation with my team on the topic effective implementation of change. This is our agenda. These are the topics which we are going to cover today. What is change agent? The individual or group that undertakes the task of initiating and managing change in an organization is known as a change agent. A change agent is employed by an organization from inside or outside the company. Change agent helps in transforming an organization by concentrating on organizational effectiveness, improvement, and development. A change is successfully implemented when a change agent recognizes the opportunity for change, identifies best approach, and implements the change. Qualities required for a change agent: broad knowledge and operational and relational knowledge. And change agent should have overall knowledge of organization and its environment. Sensitive and maturity. A change agent should be sensitive enough to others and mature to promote the values of an organization. One should be authentic, homophilic, and empathetic to others, which helps in building a better social connections. Linkage and proximity. It is important to develop these qualities because it helps in collaborating with others. Structuring. A change agent should plan all the activities beforehand. Capacity. A change agent should have capacity to provide resources to all departments of an organization. Some other qualities of a change agent are openness, reward, energy, synergy, and detective. Now I request Disha to take over the slide.
Thank you, Seva. Roles and functions of change agent. The change agent has to perform the following roles in the organization. There are total 7 roles the change agent has to perform. First, the detective. Implementing change is not straightforward activity. Dealing with people's behavior and attitude requires the boss to understand the dynamics of the organization. The change agent focuses on the steps that needed to be carried out in the order to bring the change and to overcome the obstacles that would prevent the change from taking place. As a detective, the change agent must be observant and possess analytical skills. Second is advocate. Every organizational change needs someone who is in favor of the change and draws everyone's attention on it. Change agent can gain support of the employees for taking initiative and engaging people to participate in it. They also have to keep on insisting about the change when everyone else is busy with other activities. As an advocate, the change agent has to be vocal and persistent. The third is the counselor. Change happens when individuals alter their own activities, behaviors, and attitudes. They are required to take risks and step outside their comfort zones. The change agent must understand the personal implication of people involved so that they are convinced about bringing the change. As a counselor, a change agent must listen and encourage good things. Fourth is the facilitator. One of the key activities of an agent is to find out ways to help people change. Change agents clarify the change and make it easier to perform. As a facilitator, they have to design systems, tools, forms, and processes to enable people to succeed through the phase of change. As a facilitator counselor, the change agent must be helpful and creative. Fifth is the mediator. Different groups and individuals undergoing change in an organization frequently have opposing priorities. Change agents must manage conflicts by helping different parties see the view and understand the situations and improve their point of view. and find common goals. They must work to improve understanding and reduce friction between people so that they can collaborate to implement change. As a mediator, the change agent is a peacemaker. Sixth is the expert. Change agent must possess expertise to build the authority within the organization. By sharing agents' knowledge, they can direct people in the right direction. Sometimes knowledge transfer directly through training, but it also happens every day through meetings and conversations. As an expert, a change agent must be confident and knowledgeable. The last is the lawyer. A change agent must ensure that their goals, targets, and due dates for various activities must be specified clearly. They keep people on track to achieve the same. Change agents must specify ways to make people accountable and make sure that appropriate rewards and punishments are given. As a lawyer, the change agent must be determined and conscientious. Thank you. And now I request Shweta Atsrikar to continue.
Thank you, Disha. Effective change program. Change takes place every day in an organization. It can be a small change or a big change. To be specific, small changes are implementation of new system, change in leadership or organization culture. Big changes are merger or acquisition. Employee handling the change in a particular way reflects in the performance of the organization. To adapt effective change, various programs or trainings are undertaken. There are three ways through which change can be implemented in a cup winning way. First one, commute the rationale behind the need for change. In adapting any switch in our life, why factor is very much substantial. If anyone comes and tells me to just do the thing, I might think many times. But if someone reasons it, the chances are high that the task is completed. Similarly, when you provide the cognition of the change to the employees, they tend to absorb it. This is the important stage and it should not be neglected. Second, implement the change in phases. A lake is formed by one drop at a time. Likewise, change should possibly implemented step by step. It can be either implemented in specific interval of time or in small groups. This helps the manager to know how effective the change is. Third, evaluate, review, and report on change. The entire change process should be carefully monitored so that its effects can be evaluated and reviewed. In addition to that, change should be conveyed to every member of the organization. While searching the topic, I came across to this wonderful thought which I would like to share with you all. Change is hard because people overestimate the value of what they have and underestimate the value of what they may gain by giving up that. People are generally afraid of failure, and that is the main reason they hesitate to adapt change. But by doing this, they focus more on their incapabilities and underrate oneself. Determinants of successful change. There are three change determinants. First one, environmental. Any change in an organization is brought by keeping in mind the customer. Customer is considered as king. The change in environment must be coupled with change in product line, change in services, development of a new product, target the customer at some other marketplace in terms of better quality. Second, structural. Structure of the organization and strategy should be compatible, or else it will become a major hurdle to adapt change. The structure of the organization determines the sense of autonomy. Third, management orientation. Management's support for the change is also crucial factor to bring about the change successfully. Orientation of management should be appropriately aligned to organization structure. The change plan should also relate to the environment. Further, I request Disha to continue.
Thank you, Shweta. Next is systematic approach to change. Before bringing in any change, the manager must understand the current context in the dynamic environment. Change involves adding new components or processes to ongoing development. Therefore, at this point, the context analysis should focus on the current processes and identify the areas of the organization that need improvement or that are working well. A comprehensive systems map is a useful tool to explain how existing services aligned with the system approach and indicate where gaps need to be filled. The analysis should also look at whether or not there is a supportive environment to sorry, to purpose and undertake change. The need for change should help to create an environment by explaining why changes are needed and how to build on factors that will help in successful implementation of the change. The analysis of change must consider both internal and external factors. Factors such as organizational, local, and jurisdiction policies, politics, availability of resources, both financial and human, parallel change processes, organizational culture, existing and potential partnerships, both internal and external, at the organizational, system, community, and client service levels. Organizational documents such as strategic plans should be reviewed for consistency from time to time. Leadership also responsible for ensuring that context, communication, outcomes, benefits, and individual considerations are taken into account. Creating a safe environment for discussion at all levels and throughout the change process is an important leadership challenge. Next are the benefits of systematic approach to change, and this approach is divided into three stages. First is short-term benefits. Short-term benefits include a better understanding of current system, increased communication between people and organizations across the system, greater consensus on goals and priorities. Second category is intermediate benefits. Intermediate benefits include increased partnerships and coordination between people, increased capacity to identify the address gaps in the services. The third stage includes long term benefits. Long term benefits include increased use of evidence based practices and increased access to services. Thank you. And now I request Shrutika Chandane to continue.
Thank you, Disha. My topic is employee client relationships. Timelines are often influenced by external factors. People are affected by changes in which they are involved and they react to it. They also tend to resist the change at times. The five phases of managerial work to carry out any change are: Phase 1: Analyzing and planning the change. The first objective should be to anticipate then effects and the change, its impacts on those involved. The second objective should be to work out solutions to the important anticipated problems. The third objective should be to develop a tentative action plan to solve the problems. The following few questions should be asked, like how widespread is this support, who originated idea for change, what is the scope of the change, etc. Phase 2: Communicating about the new change. Much of this communication should be carried out before any actions is taken to introduce the actual change. Also, managers should try to assess the employees' reactions by indentating their questions, beliefs, and fears about the change. The intensive program of communication should begin at the completion of the analysis and planning phase of the change. Phase 3: Gaining acceptance of the required changes in behavior. Managers can reach agreement through negotiation and bargaining and can also invite people to participate in decision making. Decision is the best method for developing and understanding change and its implications. Phase 4: Making the initial transition. Preparatory phases are planning, immunization, and gaining agreement, which should preface the actual start of the change itself. If new knowledge and skills are required by the change, appropriate training should be designed and implemented. Phase 5: Consolidation and follow up. To ensure the fulfillment of objectives of a change, managers must institute systematic and thorough follow up procedures. Supervisors must correct any misunderstandings and questions that may arise about the new conditions of the work. Furthermore, managers should ensure that specialists continue their involvement in the change until they can make no further useful contributions. Due to this, managers will be able to determine the extent to which the anticipated results and benefits have been realized. Further, I request Shrushti Kadam to continue.
Thank you, Shrutika. Client and consultant relationship. A strong relationship between the clients and the consultant is critical to be successful completion of any project. The client is the recipient of the advice, whereas the consultant gives a patient hearing to the client's problems and tackles it through the process of consultation. Each relationship is unique. However, there are some general principles that can be applied to all relationships. Uh, there are two guidelines. There are guidelines for consultants as well as clients. Guidelines for consultant includes inclusive planning. Enough time should be given for a thorough and thoughtful inception of ideas. Meetings must be planned with the client and results in the more efficient and stress-free evaluation of the problems. Next is the be clear and honest about expectations and boundaries. At the start of a new contract, it is necessary that both parties must be clear of each other's expectations of responsibilities, roles, communications, and deliverables. Clear, regular, and timely communication. It is good idea to agree on the document, a communication process from the outset and adhere to the duration of the project. Next, discuss reporting requirements at an early stage. To ensure clients are happy with the reports, it is best to agree on the structure well in advance. Be considerate. Building a strong relationship with the client is like building any other relationship. It, it is much easier if the consultant is considerate. He must show gratitude for being awarded the work, always remain professional and positive, be punctual, meet the deadlines on time. Guidelines for clients include agree on protocols for feedback upfront. An effective protocol is to agree to provide one set of consolidated comments to the consultant. Second, leverage consultant experience. A good consultancy is one which is treated as a partnership. There may not be many issues of seniority between the two, rather than giving detailed instructions for how the job is to be. Next is realistic timelines and milestones. Consultant manage multiple jobs concurrently, making it crucial that planned timelines and milestones are realistic and achievable. Fourth, be clear of the purpose of before engaging a consultant. One should be clear on the purpose, scope, deliverables, and boundaries of the project before engaging a contractor. Communicate openly. The client must communicate any issues that they arise with the consultant in a transparent manner, which whether they are internal issues or concerned about the contract. Next is the classic skill for leaders. Classic skill for leaders can be used to bring change in organization. It may not be possible for leaders to physically visit all the departments. So he may call for complaint letters for unsatisfactory services. Some of the classic skill for leaders are stated as kaleidoscopic thinking. In any organization, different departments have their individual requirements. To solve any crisis, the leader should encourage use of kaleidoscopic thinking. It helps to develop one's abilities to generate ideas creatively. Second, effective communication. The leader should effectively communicate the various policies and strategies of the organization to the employees. Delegation. Leaders should possess the skill of delegation. He may transfer ownership to the working team when they are planning to deal with the crisis. The leader has to give guidelines and monitor the whole plan and execute the plan himself. Coalition building. Coalition building must be practiced by the leaders. It requires an understanding of the dynamics of change, and in any organization, this dynamism is quite intense. Build a sense of identity. Leaders must allow team members to forge their own identity, build a sense of membership and identity, and enjoy the protection that they need to implement the changes. Six, recognition and individual attention to the individuals. The leader should give recognition to every individual so that the people will be motivated to keep a good work and not indulge into corrupt practices. Intellectual stimulation. This is the another significant quality of the leader. It helps him to look at the different problems in differing ways and ultimately find a solution. Passive avoidant. The leader also needs to be a passive avoidant at times. It must not require to him to present all the time. A leader must not react to all the situation but must focus on only the areas to severe attention. Last, manage the culture. Leader must manage the culture. They must set boundaries for collaboration, autonomy, and the sharing of knowledge, ideas, and give meaning to the events and appears random and chaotic. Lastly, I would like to say that people rarely welcome change. They are often adverse to change, and in a world which is increasingly changing at an alarming rate, people can be skeptical and resistant to anything that threatens the status quo of their working lives. Moreover, not only change is positive, also sometimes doing things differently does not actually means doing things better in a long run. Hence, introducing change and transformation has to be done carefully, sensitively, and collaboratively. It is rightly said by George Bernard Shaw that progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their mind cannot change anything. Thank you.